Good morning, students. Am I audible?
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Okay, students. I was just going through the practical files submitted for blotting experiment. Uh, Ishita Arora not turned in. Nandini Raj not turned in. Vanshika Bhatt just viewed, and Vivek also just viewed. So all other people they have submitted their files. So कल आपको जब मैंने टाइम दिया था फाइल बनाने का तब आप लोग क्या कर रहे थे? Yes, Ishita. Where is Ishita? Are you there? No, Ishita is not there. Nandini, why your file is not there? Vivek, why your file is not there?
Excuse me, ma'am. Am I
Yes,
audible?
yeah, Ishita, you're audible.
Ma'am, I was there in the meeting only. Ma'am, I have submitted it. On my
Uh,
end, it's showing handed in.
no, Ishita, I can just send you my file. Just a moment, Ishita. Yeah, Ishita not turned in. No, it is not submitted. Did you submit in the correct
Ma'am, I will
file?
check it once again. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Please,
ma'am. I
yeah, check.
submitted it around 12 to 14.
No, it is not there because I
Ma'am,
see
done it,
other.
I handed in again, but I have already done it. Sorry, ma'am.
Please do it again, right?
Okay, ma'am. I'll
Nandini,
do it just now.
Nandini, yeah, Nandini, you're not even turned in. Why? And Vanshika and Vivek also same. Vanshika, Vanshika, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah, Vanshika, start doing your files, right? Since we are taking individual, we are uploading individual files, so please start uploading the files also. And also, Vanshika, since maybe within the second week of October, I'll be planning for a midterm exam of a practical. So for that, by that time, your practical files, all other experiments should also be uploaded, right? If not uploaded,
Okay,
okay, you
ma'am.
can just mail me one by one, right? Those practical, fine, Vanshika.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
Vanshika,
Yes, ma'am.
since for your midterm, also speak to your faculties to take your midterms if midterms they have been conducted for other exams, right? Because otherwise, this will
Okay, ma'am.
affect your internal marks, right? So don't wait for teacher
Okay,
to
ma'am.
come to you and ask you that give your midterm. Go if they have been already conducted for other exams, assignments, or some other things. Then talk to the faculties. Ask them that they should reconduct for you so that you don't miss out the internal marks. Okay, Vanshika.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
fine, fine,
Ma'am,
fine. Yes, Vivek.
usually I do submit them, but yesterday actually I broke my glasses like half an
Okay,
hour after class, so I had to get them fixed. So it took quite a while. So
okay,
that's why I was
Vivek.
not
No
able to submit
problem.
it
You
yesterday.
can submit it, right? Fine.
Ma'am, am
Yes,
I
ma'am,
audible?
I'll have it submitted
Yeah.
after class.
Yes, Ishita.
Ma'am, sorry. By mistake, I have submitted it in the discussion part. Sorry, ma'am. I'll
Yeah,
submit it
that's what
again.
I was thinking ki because I don't see you here, so it is fine.
Sorry,
Please
ma'am.
submit it, right? No
Okay, ma'am.
issues, no
Yes,
issues.
ma'am.
Okay, students. So today's discussion topic I mentioned yesterday was that we are going to discuss about the diseases which are eradicated from the world, or since when we talk about the diseases which are eradicated, there are only few diseases such as smallpox is totally eradicated. But yes, there are many other diseases which have been reduced or their cases are found just maybe only minimum cases are reported throughout the world for those diseases. So maybe because of the vaccination, it was possible that we were able to eradicate those diseases, right? So if we just talk about eradication, it means that we are reducing the infectious diseases or their prevalence in a population. So eradication could be country wise also, and when we talk about eradication, usually it is global because we want to eradicate a particular disease globally. If it remains somewhere endemic or some in other forms, so there are always chances that these diseases can. Yes, someone's mic is unmute, I guess. Yeah. So there are always chances that, reoccurrence of these diseases in endemic forms or some pandemic, epidemic form can also take place, right? So when we talk about so far, I mean, only two diseases are eradicated successfully, and one disease which affect humans is a smallpox, and one which affect animals is a rinderpest, basically. So smallpox was a very deadly disease and infectious disease of humans, and it became the first disease for which there was effective vaccines in around 1798. And Edward Jenner, he showed the protective effect of it. So basically, Edward Jenner was person who discovered the vaccine for the smallpox at that time. So earlier time, when I discussed the history, we talk about the variolation technique also, where some infective material from the, because cowpox was one disease which was very prevalent in the cows those times. So they used some material, some infected material from the cows, and they used to infect that to the humans, and they used to see the impact, how this disease is being prevented due to this. This was a crude method though, but later it came a more refined form, and it came in the form of a vaccination, right? So this was one human disease which was right. In 1980, they actually announced that the world is free from this particular disease, and we don't see these pathogens now. Another is the rinderpest, which basically a viral disease which used to infect cattle and ruminants, and it is, it belongs to the same family as a measles. And this disease was also, around in 2010, they announced that disease has been eradicated. Then polio is another disease for to eradicate, because the kind of impact polio was causing on the people, and due to polio there was long term effects, like we used to see these effects we used to see when we were children in the school. So when at that time one or two student or children was always there who was affected by the polio, and they were not able to walk properly because they cause a certain kind of a movement of a disability, basically. So that time it was common, but nowadays we don't see these things, because polio in India is also polio free, and only three countries this disease is being, still the cases are being found. Otherwise, from throughout the world, this disease has been eradicated, and it was again made possible through the a lot of vaccination program and a lot of government interventions, World Health Organization interventions, and they were there were a lot of vaccination programs which were being run throughout the world. In even in India also, we used to see, like, I guess the even last week or 10 days back there was a polio drop campaign going on. So uh, health workers, health organizations in a particular country, and some international funding, they made it possible that vaccination drive was done in such a way that they were able to eradicate these particular diseases. Like, so these are the main diseases which are being eradicated on the, or we can say on the verge of eradication. But other diseases such as tetanus, like tetanus, it causes again a muscle stiffness and lockjaw. It can be fatal, right? So this disease, again, there are a lot of vaccinations for the tetanus also, and there is always, like, pregnant women, they are given tetanus injections twice during the pregnancy. Children, again, at the different doses of, or booster doses of a tetanus are also being given. So this is also, again, this is which is not very commonly reported. Then hepatitis B is another disease which is managed by the vaccination program. Then rubella is again a disease which is spread by coughing and sneezing, and especially this disease is very dangerous for a pregnant women and a developing baby. So usually pregnant women, they are given the vaccination for the rubella, and children also, when they are born around 12 to 23 months, they are given this rubella vaccination, and then maybe a second dose or a booster also being given, right? Then measles is again a very important disease that this was a very disease where younger children were affected, and it was a very contagious disease, right? Especially for the younger children, it was very dangerous also, because unvaccinated people can get measles, and then when they're traveling and then they're moving from one part to the another, they can spread this disease to the other people also. Again, we have a vaccination for the measles. Then there was a disease called whooping cough or a pertussis. So this was again a very contagious disease and deadly in case of a baby, especially younger children, very young children, newborns basically. And this is again whooping this is again comes under a vaccination program where vaccination is given to the younger children or the newborn babies, so they are prevented from these disease. Then rotavirus. So rotavirus is again contagious disease. It causes severe watery diarrhea, and again this disease is very common in younger children's newborn babies. So we have a vaccination for the rotavirus also. So not many cases of the rotavirus are being reported. Then mumps. Again, some children, they have sometimes the mumps problem. So this is again one disease where the vaccination has been developed and can be managed very easily. Then chickenpox. So earlier days, the chickenpox was vaccination for a chickenpox was not included in the vaccination programs, but nowadays a chickenpox vaccine is in the vaccination program, and children at the age of 3 or 4 years, they get vaccination for a chickenpox. So chickenpox was again a disease which used to cause itchy rashes or blisters or a fever, and could be it was not that life threatening, but in a younger children or a babies, it could be life threatening. So especially people with a weakened immune systems, right? So vaccinating kids at a very early age is a best way to prevent this infection in the children. And children who are already vaccinated by this chickenpox virus, and even if they contaminate at later stages by some people around them, so impact is not that much as it used to be in the unvaccinated people. Then diphtheria was again one disease which young children used to get, and we have a tetanus. We have this vaccination from a diphtheria also. We have a vaccination for the tuberculosis also, right? Then there's a disease called leprosy. So leprosy has been managed to a larger extent, but then still leprosy we don't. It is not that we have a zero cases of a leprosy. So leprosy still people infected with this disease are there. Then rabies also, very less cases of a rabies are there, but since this is being transmitted from a stray dog to the human, so vaccination drive for the pets is being recommended in order we can, these kind of diseases can be avoided, right? So if we talk about the eradication, smallpox is one disease. Polio, we are on the verge of eradication. Only Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh are the three countries where this disease is still there. So maybe within some years, this disease can also be removed or eradicated from the world, right? So these were the opening remarks. Now I would like you all, what all you have studied, or what whatever material or whatever literature you've gone through for the eradication or diseases which are not present now, or diseases which were very fatal earlier, but maybe due to the vaccination drives or due to the therapeutics, they are manageable now. So we can talk about those diseases. Yes, Adish Mishra. Yes, Adish, are you there?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Was
Yes,
it?
Adish. You're not audible to me.
Uh, am I audible now?
Yeah, now you're audible. Yes, Adish. Okay, can we have a next student since am I audible or not? Is let me check. My network is fine, I guess, right? Okay, yeah. Ayushi, can you go next and Adishi can take later. Ayesha, can you hear me? Sam,
Yes, ma'am.
yes,
Am I
sir.
audible?
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
Ma'am, actually, when I read about it, there were only two, like smallpox and rinderpest viruses, which were
Yeah.
eradicated.
Mhm.
And I guess everybody here knows mostly about smallpox because we have been
It
learning
is
about it.
fine. All of you can say same thing. That's not a problem, but at least say something, right? That will give me an indication that at least you guys have gone through and you guys have read something about these things. Like,
Yeah. So, ma'am, I read about rinderpest virus,
mm-hmm.
and so it's basically animal virus which it doesn't affect humans, but it
Mm-hmm.
infects animals, cattle mostly, and it caused in, I think, in the 19th century, it in Africa it killed around 90 to 90% of the cattle in southern and eastern Africa, and the symptoms are like fever, loss of appetite, and like there is a high fatality rate that in around 2 weeks the most animal dies in 2 weeks from the start of the symptoms. And even though it didn't infect humans, but it caused famine, which killed a lot of people in Africa. And also because of this famine, the people started moving away, like which created a barren place, and the growth of a thorn bush. This thorn bush plant, was grown there because there were no humans. And thornbush is actually a natural habitat of tsetse flies, and which tsetse flies actually are a vector for trypanosoma virus parasite, which causes sleeping sickness. Yeah, so I read about how rinderpest actually gave way to sleeping sickness to rise in Africa, and eradication was actually done by a virus. Think it was by a vaccine, which was, I think, made in 1980 to 1920, and I think 2011 it got eradicated completely from the world.
Okay, fine.
Also, I also read this, like USA was planning to use this rinderpest as a biological weapon before terminating its program.
Okay. Okay, fine. That's good. So yes, the rinderpest, or it is also called as a cattle plague, right? It was a very infectious disease in the cattle, and it is somewhere believed to have been originated in Asia at that time, and later, I mean, it spread it to the other part also, and it caused Sam told that some cattle plague also somewhere it is caused, and this is basically a virus which is closely related to measles and other viruses. And the measles virus also, they say that the possibility that measles virus possibly emerged from the rinderpest as a zoonotic disease. So zoonotic disease are those which we get when we humans they get infected from the pathogens which are already infecting the animals, right? So they believe that it could be that measles we might have got this measles from the animals in some forms, right? And this is again, if we talk about his symptoms, mainly it was a direct through the direct contact or a contaminated water, and again there were like symptoms like fevers or some kind of eye discharges from the animals. This used to there, right? So yes, this disease, they were able to manage this disease, and the vaccination was also done for this particular disease, right? So eradication they started in early 20th century, where they saw that a lot of animals are affected by this particular disease. So eradication program was done, and yes, used as a biological weapon. So, it is still a concern for as a biological weapons, because this disease is the number of people who are getting, number of animals basically, it has a high morbidity and a mortality also, right? So there was a chance that for smallpox also, for smallpox also, it was being used as a biological weapon or in a biowarfare, right? In a bioterrorism. So smallpox का भी बहुत ज़्यादा use हुआ था bioterrorism में. So deadly pathogens जो भी होते हैं ना, there are always chances or always risk that people can use them for bioterrorism or in biofarm. Though it is ethically not right, and there are certain rules or guidelines in the board also to be followed. So it is not considered right, but still, I mean, the use of a nuclear weapon is also not even allowed, right? There are certain countries who are coming to a common, decision and a treaty that they are not going to use these weapons, though they are being developed. But still, similar is for the biowarfare weapons, but still they can be used, and misuse of anything which is being positively utilized or which can be positively utilized for any other purposes are still there, right? We have a computers, we have a computer viruses. So, then computer viruses are being identified, then we have antivirus programs, right? So we need to, in order to prevent ourselves from our computers from the viruses, we need to buy those antivirus programs. So antivirus industry or their business is totally dependent upon the computer viruses, right? So this goes on in the world. Yes, there are certain ethical and other rights also that we should not do such things. Yes, yes, Devanshi, you're next.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Ma'am, I would like to add in Sam's discussion about rinderpest.
Okay.
There were many methods for eradication like isolation, slaughter, or method which is inoculating, inspired from the inspired from the smallpox. Like in slaughter, that was the method that those cows and buffaloes which are infected, they will be killed if they found infected. And another method was inoculating cows. They inoculate with inactivated virus samples from infected animals. And some countries like Thailand, Philippines, and Iran, they were able to manage because they used this inactivated virus samples from cows. And also, the last case was from Kenya, I think in 2003. And still, there were in 2014, there were many around 23 countries were reported to still hold the samples as a sample.
Okay, Devanshi. So that was more about the rinderpest, right? So can we have a next student? Next student is Ishita.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Ishita.
Ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Smallpox, ma'am, as we all know that smallpox is a viral disease. It was due to the varroa virus, which belongs to the family, which belongs to a and its genus, not the family, basically its genus was orthopox, and it is a two types basically. The virus varroa minor, and the major. Minor one is the one which is less fatal as compared to the major one, and it causes different, not different diseases, but the signs and symptoms are just a little bit different. The presence of smallpox can be diagnosed. There are different diagnostic tests, like a physical diagnostic one can diagnose the presence of smallpox by the physical symptoms like body fever, high fever, vomiting, and in later stage it can be diagnosed by the body rashes, which starts appearing in the body, small red color rashes which have fluid filled in them, and there were different treatment. Not the one of the main treatment was vaccination, but if a person was suffering from small pox, then they were given antivirals for the treatment to overcome from them. The vaccine was discovered by Edward Jenner, and he was the one who was discovering the vaccine for the cowpox, but by mistake, by mistake, by in the experiment, he noticed that the vaccine was also useful for smallpox and is used to protect smallpox. And man, they were different. And in India, smallpox was the last, not now, but in 20th century, the last case was in around in 1975. So it was eradicated from India in around 1980s.
Okay, fine. Good, Ishita. So that was a good information on the smallpox that this again this at one time this disease was actually causing deaths in the people and a very contagious disease, and a lot of research has been done, and still the samples of the smallpox, they are being kept for the research purposes in a high security containment facilities. So we talk about the symptoms. It is fever, back pain, vomiting also, and causes could be direct person to person from infected person, or to the it can also we can get through the contaminated clothing, bedding, or though the risk is less, but yes, it can as a terrorist weapon potentially. So deliberate release of a smallpox is again a remote threat, and because any release of the virus could spread the virus quickly. So that is also one threat always. I don't remember, just few years back or many years back, there was some threat that through letters, someone sent some to these small pox, their spores, and they could be, at that time, a lot of scare was being in the people. Later, it was counted as a hoax, but there was at one time there were a lot of rumor about this also, right? Okay, so after Ishita, we have a Janvi Singh.
Yes, ma'am. Uh, as we all know that we are that world has eradicated from two diseases, which is smallpox and rinderpest. It was declared in 1980 and 2011, uh, respectively. But I would like to add more that how the other diseases that you have just mentioned, seven deadly diseases, the world has almost eradicated from. So these are guinea worm, um measles, mumps, polio, lymphatic filariasis, cysticercosis, and rubella. So, if I talk about guinea worm, so it was caused by a parasite called Trachycuriosis, and it was when the worm exceeded infect a person, it gives exceedingly painful non-bearable pain, and it can be permanently debilitating, which was especially in children. And it was spread due to drinking dirty water, and it can also destroy the muscles and tissue and surrounding knee, or it could be inside the food. Or so we knew that by 1986 there were 3.5 million cases we have reported, but now by 2015 or 2017 only three individual cases were reported, gives uh, which actually gives relief to the people. The other disease I would like to talk about is measles, which was like smallpox. It was same highly contagious, and it the complication it include for blindness, severe diarrhea, serious respiratory infection, and encephalitis. And the encephalitis cause also brain swelling, and the uh, um the other disease I would like to call is mumps, and it was very normal at some time when I think when I was kid I too got mumps, but not the severe one. It is also a contagious disease, and it caused the salivary glands in the cheeks and jaws to swell, and it could be more lasting. It can cause lasting damage and severe complications. Uh, Now, next, I would like to say about rubella. It too was a highly contagious disease. It was usually seen in young people and the adults. It used to cause rashes and cold-like symptoms, but it was highly dangerous in unborn babies in the first trimester, which can also cause deafness and blindness and brain damage. So now it has been declared that this disease has eliminated from America. And yes, ma'am, I'm done.
Yes, Janvi. So yeah, you explained a lot of diseases and mumps. Yes, we still in some children the mumps they have this swallowing, salivary gland problem that they swallow and they cause a lot of problem by swallowing when food is being swallowed. Yes, it is there. Yes. Okay, then after Janvi we have a Kshitij. Kshitij.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, smallpox, uh, smallpox it was eradicated in 1986, and, and the first who invented it, the scientist is Edward Jenner,
Yes.
and the vaccine is basically derived from the word vaccina, and it was
I can't hear you, Kshitij.
I remember the different.
Okay. Okay, fine, Kshitij. Manaswini, can you be happy?
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Uh, Sorry, ma'am, I was muted. So, since everybody spoke about smallpox and rinderpest, I wanted to talk about tetanus, which has not been fully eradicated, but it's very, very close to being eradicated. And so, basically, tetanus, it's caused by a bacteria called Clostridium tetani, and basically, it is characterized by extreme muscle contractions, and in severe cases the contractions can be so bad that it can even lead to death and cardiac arrest. So this disease, it's usually transmitted by, let's say, we get some kind of cut, then the bacteria can very easily enter our body, and after that the symptoms can appear anytime between 3 to, I think, around 21 days. And although many people think that just cleaning the wound thoroughly will protect them from tetanus, that's not necessarily true. It is important that within 3 days of the cut, it is important to go to a medical professional and see if especially in case of a child, if they need a tetanus booster shot. So after that, once they have gotten the injection, yes, the second most important thing is cleaning the wound properly and treating it with different antiseptics. So because of this vaccination, it's now extremely rare, and many sources say that it's 99% on its way to eradication. There's still a little bit more work that has to be done.
Okay. Okay, so yes, tetanus is one such disease, and when yeah, as Manasini told that whenever we as children especially, or even the adult people, we get some cuts, or we get some bruise, maybe out on the road or somewhere else. So we should always go to the doctor, and the doctor could, if in the last 6 months we have not taken any tetanus shot, so they can recommend a tetanus shot also, so in order to prevent any kind of infection further. So this is also very important disease which is usually neglected, because sometimes, yes, many times it happens that we are being bruised and we always think that nothing will happen, we can just clean it off. But sometimes, yes, most of the time nothing happens, but sometimes it happens that a tetanus can develop, and it is a very deadly disease. Then if people can die due to tetanus infection. So it is always recommended by the doctors that whenever we are getting any wounds, or whenever we are getting bruises, or whenever we are some kind of a cuts in our body, hands, wherever, we should always go and get it checked by the doctor. And if they recommend, we should always take a tetanus injection. in order to save any kind of infection for the rest. Okay, then we after Manasani we have Namrita. Yes, Namrita.
So I'll be talking about polio. Am I
Okay.
audible now?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. So polio is a contagious viral illness, and in severe form, it can cause nerve injury leading to paralysis and difficulty in breathing, and sometimes to death. And then polio was eliminated in US with vaccination, and continued use of polio vaccine has kept this country polio free. Then talking about symptoms, symptoms are fever, sore throat, headache, vomiting, fatigue, and then causes of polio is poliovirus can be transmitted through direct contact with someone infected with the virus, and polio mainly affects children younger than 5. And then talking about prevention, the most effective way to prevent polio is through vaccination. I'm done.
Okay, fine, fine. So yes, polio is actually one of the important disease which causes the paralysis also in the people. So in some cases, it can from gut it can move to the central nervous system and it can cause a muscle weakness and it can lead to the paralysis. And yes, it can spread from person to person through infected fecal matter entering the mouth and or through the contaminated food or water also. And but this disease is totally preventable if we are giving the newborn babies the polio vaccines. And but then multiple doses of this. This is not a vaccine where, and the best part is that we have a oral polio vaccine which is being developed, right? So one or two doses are not sufficient, and multiple doses of these vaccines are required for it to be very effective. And the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends polio vaccination boosters for the people, for the children up to the particular age of 5 or 8. Continuous booster vaccine should be given to them. And this disease has existed for many years, and one of the very oldest disease. And number of the people who were affected by disease, they were either not able to walk properly, or if they were able to walk, they need a special kind of a support or a special shoes with those leg braces through which they were able to move or they were able to walk with this disease, right? So people, yes, I mean, many cases, yes, it did not cause the mortality, but then the kind of a disease burden, that person will bear throughout his life due to the paralysis which will be developed by the disease is definitely a problem of a concern. So when we talk about any disease, we not only talk about the mortality, but we also talk about the morbidity. That number of the people who are affected by the disease, yes, they are not dying or they are not, people are not, disease is not so severe that people will die, but then the disease burden that they are going to bear throughout their life is something which will reduce the quality of life which they will otherwise live if they were not affected by the particular disease, this disease, right? Yes, after we are done till Namrita, Nehal, right? Nehal?
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, Nehal.
So, ma'am, I'll be talking about maternal and neonatal tetanus.
You
So,
will
it
be
is
talking about, I didn't get you, which?
maternal and neonatal tetanus.
Okay, maternal and neonatal tetanus, yes.
So, it is the most recently eliminated disease, and its
Mm-hmm.
elimination in India was announced between May or August in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And this disease posed a threat to mothers and babies in the situation where delivery of the child was being conducted in unhygienic conditions or circumstances. So, according to UNICEF, 1,30,000 deaths of young children in India in 1988 was seen. So, maternal tetanus infection would usually occur after abortion, miscarriages, or unhygienic delivery practices. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
neonatal tetanus infection usually occurs through umbilical thumb after the delivery. Okay. Most deliveries in the villages were done by the ayas or dayamas who hardly observed. So that's the main reason why there's a high maternal and neonatal death rate in the ancient times. So in 1999, the initiative was taken to eliminate this disease, and the program was started by the name of MNPP for the elimination of this disease. So they worked on strengthening the routine immunization activities, include tetanus toxoid vaccine coverage, improving delivery practices, and tetanus immunization feeding techniques.
Okay, Nehal. Yes, the maternal and neonatal tetanus was actually a major problem when the deliveries were not done in a hygienic way. They were done at home with not a proper trained persons, and the umbilical cord was, it was cut down by using blades which were not sterilized, or by those things which were not properly sterilized. So yes, this caused a lot of deaths of the younger children. Due to the tetanus which was developed due to this unclean deliveries and these practices. And to solve this problem, there was a lot of programs which were done by the government to tell people that yes, it is good that such deliveries, even normal deliveries, for deliveries you should go to the hospital with the proper care, and then the tetanus injections are being given to the pregnant women also. So this particular problem was the handling problem, or the problem where uneducated people or people not were not very careful about that how infection can take place in the newborn child also, due to just a simple mistake that they are doing. So this disease or this problem to somehow or to some level was managed, and people were educated. Then they were in India. If I talk about, a lot of Asha workers were given the responsibility of going home to home and telling each women or people in the villages, or especially the elderly women, or other women of a childbearable age, that the childbirth at a home should be avoided, and what are the drawbacks and what can happen if they don't stop this practice. So these days we don't see much child home birth or a childbirth in the homes. And most of the people, there are a lot of, in a village also, there at the small level there are small hospitals or sub centers are there where people, they prefer to go to these places for the childbirth. So yes, this is again one major problem that is being faced mostly more in the developing countries, where the people are either they, sometimes they don't want to go to the hospital. They cannot, they say that they cannot afford the hospital charges, and for this reason the Indian government has taken an initiative that women, their all the cost, for example, I'm talking about the Himachal Pradesh or other states also throughout, they have said that they'll bear, government will bear all the cost of childbirth in the hospital, whether it's a cesarean or a normal delivery, and no amount of money will be charged from any women for this. So this was again done in order to attract more and more people to go to the hospitals for the childbirth or for the delivery of the babies, right? So this reduced these kind of a cases, to a lot lower level. Uh, because when government is providing everything free, then people also think that they don't need to spend anything, so they can definitely go and uh, avail these facilities, right? So it was a good discussion today, and lot of not many diseases are totally eradicated, but even if the number of the cases are being brought down to a certain level, so that is also a big accomplishment or achievement in the health sector, or that reduces the burden on the health sector also, right? So definitely by educating people for the vaccination is the best thing, that because some people, they don't want to take the vaccine, they don't want to get vaccinated. So those people still remain a threat, or they for the spreading of the these kind of a pathogen to the healthy or other people also. So vaccination is very important, and the kind of a vaccination program which are being run by the government of India, they are credible, and we should applaud them for that. Basically, that for some diseases which are reduced, or some diseases which have been eradicated, they are made possible by the extensive use of the vaccination. Right. So thank you so much for this today's discussion, and attendance is Sucham, Adhish Mishra, Ayushi Jain, Sam, Devanshi,
Present, ma'am.
Ishita, yeah, Ishita, Janvi, Kshitij, yes, Janvi, I can see you. Kshitij, are you there? Manaswani, Manas, yes, Kshitij, I can see you. Namrita, Nehal,
Ma'am, I'm present. Present, ma'am.
Namrita, yes.
Present, ma'am.
Manaswani, I can, yeah, I can.
Present.
Present, ma'am.
Jana, Shakti, yes, Adish, I can see you.
Present, ma'am.
Shivani,
Present, ma'am.
Tanvi,
Present, ma'am.
Shivani, yes, Shivani, Shakti, Sahiba, they are there. Tanvi,
Present, ma'am.
Hridev, Hridev, are you there? Vanshika, Vivek,
Present,
Yukta,
ma'am. Present.
Yuvraj. Yes, Vanshika, I can see you. Yuvraj, are you there?
Present, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Okay, so I'll see you
Present,
next
ma'am.
week. Yeah, Vivek, I can see you. Okay, I didn't take your name. Okay, so next week I'll see you, and midterm for this practical will fix somewhere in the second week of October, right? So we still have time for that. Thank you so much, students. I'll see you next week.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.